news for you guys. Now, I don't have the full details of what's been going on or what has happened, but this is what I know right now. The details are a little bit fuzzy, but me and Two Raw and a couple of other people, we're doing our due diligence. We're investigating. We're trying to figure out what's going on. But apparently, on his way, I guess, to the stadium for game day, Tyreek Hill was pulled over by law enforcement. And to make a long story short, he was temporarily detained and handcuffed and threw on the ground face first. Now, they're saying that the footage is going to come out, but luckily for him, they said that his teammates were observing the situation to make sure that it didn't get worse for him. But they said he's really shaken up about the incident. They said he was cited and I guess he was let go. In all likelihood, he was probably speeding, driving past the speed limit. And I think possibly he was in a very fancy car. And then, of course, um, law enforcement, in all likelihood, thought that they had a career bust. Probably thought he was some rapper, probably thought he was a drug dealer. And basically, they threw him on the ground. Now, once again, we don't know the full details. And don't come on here talking that wait till the facts come out, and don't come on here telling me don't play the race card and I can say whatever I want to say. Like I said, I'm going to assume that's what it is because a lot of times that's always the case. So don't tell me what to talk about. Don't tell me, don't assume things. I'm going to say until we get further information of what was going on, he got pulled over basically for speeding, and basically they thought they had some kind of drug dealer or some kind of rapper and they was hoping to find something. uh from my knowledge, Tyree Hill doesn't have incident after incident with law enforcement. Yes, if he was speeding, fine, give him a ticket and let him be on his way at the end of the day. And I don't want to hear this stuff, well, he might have been mouthing off. If he was mouthing off, so what? That's not against the law. At the end of the day, they're still human beings. They're just men and women. They eat, breathe, and shit just like every one of us. But I find that mighty strange that this happened to him, and I'm glad that his teammates was there, making sure that the situation didn't elevate to something even worse, to where he possibly could have found himself being deleted. But it sure looked like it was a lot of law enforcement there. It's like, damn, like, wow, just like wow, like what the hell? Now, like I said, you guys, we're doing our due diligence. We're gonna have more information. We're gonna follow the game. We're gonna see what he has to say. Tyreek Hill, Drew Rosenthal, his agent apparent, he spoke on it and he said that law enforcement took it way too far. Listen, I don't want to hear this stuff about, well, if you just comply. Listen, let me explain something to you. Pulling somebody over for speeding doesn't necessarily mean that you have to take them out the car. Doesn't supposed to translate into basically taking them out the car and throwing them on the ground and putting them in handcuffs because they possibly violated his civil rights. You know, you just gotta keep it a buck. So I'm trying to figure out what's going. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. You know, I'm getting to the bottom of it. I'm doing my investigating, and we will know shortly what's going on with Mr. Tyreek Hill. But apparently, on his way to the stadium, he was pulled over by law enforcement and he was taken out his vehicle and he was placed on the ground and he was temporarily detained. He was placed in handcuffs. They say that they have the footage and the footage will show up later on. So now we're running an investigation, media that is. We're trying to get to the bottom of this and we're trying to figure out what the hell happened with Tyreek Hill And I mean, was it necessary to take him out the car? If he was speeding, once again, check his license, check his registration, give him a ticket, let him be on his way. Just because he's speeding and you pull him over doesn't resonate to you pulling him out of the car and throwing him on the ground. But we're trying to find out. Yeah, well, I'm trying to find out what's going on. I'm trying to figure out what made law enforcement basically place him on the ground and put him in handcuffs. Was it that serious? I think once he told him he was a football player, they should have just said, "Hey, we're going to give you a ticket. Make sure you show up to court, pay the fine," and that's pretty much it. A lot of times you have overzealous policemen or over anxious policemen. They always think when they get a stop like this and they see that it's a black face behind the wheel, they already thinking this could be a career bust. Now, I want to know that they search his car. I want to know that they search his car because they violated his civil rights. They violated probably his Fourth Amendment rights. But we're trying to find out what's going on. Well, that could be the case too. That could be the case too. Them just wanting to rattle the cage of a young brother because they see him in a fancy car and all that kind of stuff. I think once he would have revealed that he was a professional football player, because I'm pretty sure he has some kind of identification where, you know, saying that he plays professional sports. I'm pretty sure. So we're trying to figure out what's going on. I'm just glad that Tyreek Hill is okay. But they said he's a little shaken up. They just got through talking about it on Sunday Morning Football on ESPN. But Drew Rosenthal, he went off. He was saying he didn't think this was necessary, and he was trying to figure out how did it translate to that. Now, of course, they were trying to, Alex Smith then was trying to play dumb, trying to play clueless. They didn't want to use that word racial profiling because, now they want to try to sugarcoat that stuff and dance around it, unless it's Caitlin Clark, unless it's being applied to so-called white people. Because, they don't want to use that word racially profiled, or they don't want to use racism when it pertains to blacks because they want to say that it doesn't exist. Racism only exists towards white people. Oh my God. But they claim victimhood with us. They claim it's victimhood with us. Like, it's just laughable. You know. Yeah, I don't pay them no mind. I keep doing what I'm doing, but we will find out. We will find out what's going on with Tyreek Hill. So I just wanted to give you guys an update. Your boy Tim, he on the job. So I have more for you guys later on.